Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post another quick video here. This is actually a kind of a thread I'm going to post in celebration of me crossing over 3,000 subscribers. 3,011 as of today, actually, which is, again, absolutely amazing. Every time I say a number like that or see people in the VC do, different celebration or milestone videos, it just always makes me think about going back to the days before the VC was ever the VC, and just thinking how when you put up a video, if you got 100 views over the course of 3, 4, 5 months, that was like pretty incredible. I mean, that's just how few people there were in the VC and everything back then. So to be sitting at 3,000 subscribers when you used to just pray for 100 views, that's just absolutely incredible. And I sincerely mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's like I truly appreciate the fact that with as busy as everyone's life is and all the things you have going on, that you can find the time to actually sit down and listen to anything I have to say about music or whatever else. It truly is an honor. I mean, that's not something that I say just because or anything of that nature. I mean, it really is when we all know how busy we are in life and everything else, to take that time. It really is very meaningful to me, and I truly thank every single one of my subscribers from the bottom of my heart. That's huge, and it does not go unforeseen by any means. So I thought I would do a thread for my 3,011 subscribers. And what I'm going to do is a thread. I don't know if this question's been done before. I don't recall ever shooting a video for it. So I'm sure someone's asked it. I've just never stumbled across it. But I'm going to call this my Been There, Done That thread. Alright? So Been There, Done That thread. And basically the concept that I'm kind of jumping on with this thread is, as a lot of you know that kind of know me here in the VC, I like a lot of different genres of music, and I like it from a lot of different decades, and so my musical taste is kind of like everywhere. So one of the things that I find so cool is, there are a lot of people out there that get very locked into their genre. Like they're just a metalhead, or they only listen to pop or things that come on the radio, or they're only listen to hip hop. They may cross over a little bit. For the most part, they're really locked into a certain genre. And for me, that's cool. You enjoy music the way you want to enjoy it. I think there's way too much out there to lock yourself in like that, but ultimately, listening to music is about you enjoying what you enjoy. But one of the things I oftentimes see is I'll be listening to a song, or somebody else might be listening to a song, and they think it's so great, they think it's just such the greatest thing in the world, and maybe I do too, but then the fact that they don't like this genre over here, and I'm sitting there thinking, if you like that song so much, I heard that song 8 years ago when so-and-so in this genre basically made that song. It's the same thing, but because it's in some other genre, you've never noticed it. So one of the cool things for me to just kind of discover and see and notice in music is when I see all that crossover stuff that takes place. Where I hear this in a rap song, and then I also hear it in this metal song, and I also heard it in this pop song. There's something really cool about that, about music just being like, you can't contain me, you can't just put me in one box. It's like I can hit a lot of different people from a lot of different directions. If I'm a beat, if you will, it's like I can find myself into a rap song, I can find myself into a metal song, the whole nine. So anyway, that's kind of the concept of my Been There, Done That thread. It's just picking out 5 or 6 songs, not necessarily songs, 5 or 6 matches where you could say, here's a song, and then here's another song that's almost or basically the exact same thing. Whether it's they have the same type of notes or beats. I guess the simplest form of that concept is a sample, like a direct, like hip hop sample or something like that. But just kind of any way that you get the sense that these two songs are just very similar because of this. They're basically the same thing to me. So that's kind of, been there, done that. So I'm just going to kind of go through and show a few here. And since I don't have all the fancy editing equipment, I'm just going to pull up the songs on my iPod. I'll show the albums, but then kind of play through the pieces on my iPod. So the first one I'm going to go with is Slayer, off of the Rain and Blood, the song Angels of Death. And let me play the part here which is one of my favorite riffs by Slayer, is this little breakdown in the middle of the song. Very nice stuff. I mean, I love that. So when I say kind of a been there, done that, you know, Slayer wrote that. But then back in the day, Public Enemy came out with this album, and this song entitled She Watches Channel Zero. And note for note, I don't know how well it's going to show up on with the camera with the microphone and everything, but that's note for note the Slayer beat we just heard, with no extra bass added on top and everything else, but same thing. So that's kind of a perfect example, because back when I was in high school, this album was huge, especially with a lot of the friends I hung out with in the basketball team and so forth. This album was gigantic, and they listened to it all the time. But a vast majority of my friends back then did not listen to heavy metal music. And so all the times I can remember them playing She Watched Channel Zero, they had no idea they were playing a Slayer riff, a note-for-note Slayer riff. And again, I hope it's coming through clear on the camera, because I'm not sure how well it's going to pick that up. But so that's one. Next one I would go to would be by Metallica, off of Ride the Lightning. And of course, this is For Whom the Bells Toll, which I'm sure pretty much everyone would know that song. And I'm talking about the intro riff. Right about here. Everybody knows that Metallica riff, one of my favorites by them as well, as simple as it is. And every time I hear that song, I always connect it with Weezer's Hash Pipe. Another great song, but to my ears, exact same thing. Which again, is kind of cool to me. Now, my next Been There, Done That was one I actually heard from a comedian one time that I saw years ago. And he was kind of one of those entertaining comedians where, you know, he played guitar and sang and did other things. And he was making fun of groups that use other people's music. And this is one of the ones that he did. So he started playing this, which of course is 25 or 6 to 4 by Chicago, classic track. Which in essence, if you slow that down a little bit, you get Brain Stew by Green Day. exact same chord structure there. So another, you know, been there, done that. Let's see. Next one here. Kraftwerk, Computer World. And when I hear that, I can't help but think about Talk by Coldplay. You know, note for note, exact same thing there. Matter of fact, I need to look inside of this and see if Kraftwerk got writing credit on that song. I think they have to, man. That's a pretty just straightforward sample there. But again, you know, another great song. And Kraftwerk too, I should say, is one of those groups that, just in general, turn this down a little bit. I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge old school hip hop fan, and when you really get down to it, a lot of the bands that get so much credit, or groups, artists that get credit for bringing hip hop about, you know, Grandmaster Flash, Afrika, Bambaataa, and just, you know, all those different groups. A lot of the stuff that they took came from what Kraftwerk did. And I mean, these guys just really kind of started all of that electro funk type stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's other bands that were doing it at the time, which I'm not very familiar with that. But just kind of in general, I just don't think the guys have ever gotten the credit that they deserve. Fabulous group. So you can find them from R&B samples to stuff with Coldplay. I mean, when you have that range of people that are sampling you, you probably did something kind of right. So anyway, that's Coldplay and Kraftwerk. Matter of fact, if you go back to that Kraftwerk song, you have the Coldplay, but there's also a little bit of a hint of I Just Can't Get Enough by Depeche Mode. If you kind of listen to that. So again, moving right along. The next song by this group here called The XX from 2009. Very, very cool album. I do like this album a lot. It was described in a magazine article one time as album that teenagers want to make out to, which is kind of funny because that is kind of what it is. But that's kind of the general beat of the song. So that's the XX. So if you take that and speed it up just a tad bit, you get Geraldine by Glass Vegas. Exact same 3 chords. Love this. I love both songs actually. So really good stuff. And last but not least, we're gonna go back, and I don't have this album on CD or vinyl. I just have it on my iTunes. But it's the we're going back to Kraftwerk again. Trans-Europro Express is the name of the album. The song was called Abzug, I believe. So again, Kraftwerk, well, so you kind of hear that little beat or whatever there, that little riff in the background, and so it automatically takes me to this right here. Exact same thing, note for note. And that's probably the coolest one to me, because again, when it goes back to where my life started with hip hop, it was this song, Planet Rock by Afrika Bambaataa, that just totally opened up my world to all things hip hop, and to me still is kind of the epitome of what true hip hop music is supposed to be like. So to have been so in love with this song and this album for so long, and really not just until a few years ago, actually discovering, oh no, some German group named Kraftwerk actually wrote that, you know, ever long ago. Always mind-blowing to me every time I hear either one of those songs. So that's definitely my #1, been there, done that. And I did look it up on here, and Kraftwerk did get writing credit for that on this. So there's a couple of different things that Afrika Bambaataa sampled from Kraftwerk. This is just the one I decided to pick. So anyway, there's just a few of the tons of choices that I have, because again, that's something I notice all the time and always pay attention to, and I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So once again, thank you very much, VC. I guess if you do an entry to the video, or make a video response, you know, shoot me a PM or something, let me know that you did, so I'll know that you're kind of in there. I didn't really set this up as a contest, but I'm sure ultimately I will do something like that, you know, like the Amazon gift card type thing or something of that nature. So I'll say we'll go to October 15th. That's probably right about 4 weeks for people to do video responses. So again, let me know, and we'll go from there. And again, thank you very much, VC. I really appreciate it.